If you're a video game fan, it's the most wonderful time of the year. If you're not a video game fan, it's June? Happy June. Let's get started. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Thumb Together. And today we are going to be diving into our week-long look at E3 2019. E3 is the Electronic Entertainment Expo where they talk about video games and all the news that's fit to print and speak, because these are all press conferences regarding video games. So if you're not a video game fan, you're more than welcome to keep watching. I just apologize in advance because I'm probably not going to talk about anything that interests you. If you are a video game fan, what's up? Let's give each other some love. Speaking of giving love, give some love to that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up as well if you enjoy what you see, so I can keep on making videos about video games for people who don't like video games. But hey, regardless, I don't care who you are. You're welcome to come and watch this. This is the first episode covering E3 2019, and we are talking about the Microsoft press conference, which happened yesterday. Microsoft showed off a buttload of games, so I'm going to quickly go through my thoughts, very, bullet point thoughts, and talk about what they showed us. Two things that I should say to preface this before we dive in. Number one, I don't play games online. Period. I don't. The online gaming world, I know less about it than I know about the bottom of the ocean. So I did not know that Xbox Game Pass was a thing until last night. Apparently, it's like Netflix for video games, and you pay a monthly subscription to Xbox, and you have access to a small library of games, which is increasingly getting less small, because they talked about Game Pass last night like all the friggin' time. So I got thrown into the deep end, and I learned exactly what Xbox Game Pass is. The second thing you should know about me is I am very, very picky with video games, because I am very, very cheap. I do not like paying $90 for something that I'm not going to get my money's worth out of. Simple as that, people. I'm sorry. I'm not paying $90 for Call of Duty 45 minutes of single-player campaign mode, especially because I don't play online with the rest of normal people. And that pickiness extends to video game trailers and announcements. If I don't see gameplay in a trailer, if I don't see what I'm going to see when I have the game in my hands, I'm not impressed. I don't care. And a lot of games tend to do that. They'll throw a 14-minute cinematic of some guy swinging a sword around, and it looks really cool and everything, and everybody's like, oh my god, this game looks amazing. I'm like, no, this video looks amazing. They're not showing us a game. So if I don't see gameplay, I automatically lose interest, like that. So throughout this video, I'm going to seem like a grumpy Gus who hates video games. That's how I'm going to come across, but I'm not. I promise. I don't hate video games. I'm not a grumpy Gus. I just am extremely picky when it comes to where $90 of my money is going in regards to games. With that being said, let's dive into what Microsoft had to show us in their pre-E3 conference. Starting with The Outer Worlds. This looked like, I remember this got announced not too long ago, and it basically looks like a Borderlands clone. I'm a big fan of Borderlands. I love the art style and I love the lore that Borderlands created. So if this is like that, it sounds decent. I mean, it just looks kind of by the numbers. It really looks like a Borderlands copy. They have pretty much the same title. Borderlands, The Outer Worlds. They both mean geographical areas that are far away from the core of everything. Outer Worlds, you really have you got some work to do to make me want to buy you instead of Borderlands. You know what I mean? You gotta differentiate yourself, and I haven't seen that yet. FYI, you guys can probably hear the people upstairs being mega loud. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about that. Let's just ignore them and keep going. I'll try to talk louder to drown them out. Spiritfarer. Okay, so it's a cartoony looking thing where you're on a boat and you're hugging people, and you go around on this boat. Looks like you live on a boat. The animation looks beautiful. This does not look like a game, though, that has a lot in it. This doesn't look like a game you're going to be pumping hours of your life into. So I don't know if that's kind of the game for me. I prefer games where, I spend 80, 90, 100 hours pumping into a story. So this might be something I pass on, but damn, I do love the art. Bleeding Edge. Again, this looks like another quasi-Borderlands clone. You have like these colorful post-apocalyptic characters, but except this one does not have the whole shoot and loot kind of philosophy. This one looks more like an Overwatch kind of situation. Multiplayer, online, PvP. I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. No online stuff for me. Moving on. Minecraft Dungeons. I never got into Minecraft. Same reason I never got into Legos. I don't like paying a lot of money to have something that I have to put together. Just give me a finished product. But Minecraft Dungeons looks kind of nice. I mean, I love the art style of Minecraft. I love that really distinctive pixelated look, and to take that and build a game around it that looks kind of like a Diablo kind of thing, I could get on board with that. Minecraft Dungeons looks like it could be really, really interesting. Okay, Cyberpunk 2077. I feel like I've been waiting forever to find out when this damn game is coming out. We saw a tiny bit more of the game. There was no gameplay in this trailer, which normally would turn me off, but we have seen so much gameplay already that I'm like, okay, fine, I'll let it slide. What this was all about was finding out the release date. Finally, we know it's coming out April 2020. It's a long wait. It's another whole year almost, but at least we know when we can get our hands on this freaking game already. And to top it all off, Mr. Keanu Reeves, John Wick himself, came out to make this announcement because guess what? He's in the game. He is in the game. This game just keeps getting better and better every time I hear about it. Cyberpunk, I will see you in April 2020. I cannot wait. Battletoads. I remember they teased this last year. They teased the return of Battletoads. I am a big fan of Battletoads from the NES. I really liked that game. I really liked the art style and everything like that. I was excited for this new one. But when I saw the gameplay last night, it kind of looks cheap. I don't know what it is. It looks like the gameplay art style, it looks like it was made with Flash animation in like 2004. I don't know. It just looks like it's going to be a cheap game to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. We'll see what happens. But for now, not impressed by the trailer. At least they showed gameplay though, so that was nice. Okay, this one was called RPG Time: The Legend of Wright. I think that's what it was called. The aesthetic of this whole thing is absolutely stunning. Clearly you got some kid doodling on his desk. He's making an RPG out of all these school supplies that he's just got around him, and the makeshift way that it's all presented is gorgeous. But here's the thing. I actually have no idea if we saw gameplay or not, because I don't know. I can't even fathom how the gameplay in this would work. Did we see any actual, button pushing, character moving gameplay? I honestly could not tell you. So I'm just going to put a big question mark next to this one. I am baffled, but curious. I want to know more. Microsoft Flight Simulator. For those of us who just can't get enough pretending to fly planes over geographical locations, this game is for you. It looks beautiful. It looks like click down onto street level in Google Maps. It looks like that, but just not street level. So that's kind of neat, I guess. Fly away. Age of Empires 2, the definitive edition. Look, I'm just going to go ahead and give this one a great big meh. Wasteland 3. When it comes to games, I like to think that even if my finger's not on the pulse, it's at least close enough to the pulse. I got to be real with you, I'd never heard of Wasteland 1 or 2. I have no idea what this is. However, it looks bland as far as I'm concerned. It's just, the whole trailer was an annoying drunk guy talking about Colorado. It's a post-apocalypse because never seen that before, gaming industry. I don't know anything about Wasteland or the story or the gameplay, really. I think they showed a tiny bit of gameplay, but it was kind of hard to make out. So I really don't know and frankly don't care. Psychonauts 2. The guy from Double Fine, Tim Schafer, he came out and he introduced Psychonauts 2. I feel like this trailer would have had more of an impact on me if I had actually played Psychonauts 1, which I didn't. I've heard great things and I would love to play Psychonauts 1, but I haven't gotten around to it. And this trailer seemed really reliant on you knowing the characters and lore of Psychonauts. Like, this one guy in this photo here, he's just laughing hysterically and he's featured in the trailer a lot, and it's like, I think I'm supposed to know who he is, but I don't, so I was just like, okay, alright Psychonauts, whatever you say. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Okay, they showed us a lot of gameplay earlier in the week, quite a hefty chunk of gameplay, and I'll talk about that more on Rebel Scum Podcast, where we'll get into the video game stuff like that. If you don't know about Rebel Scum Podcast, that's the show that I'm on YouTube as well. It's a separate show where we just talk about Star Wars all the time. Speaking of Star Wars, This press conference also showed off Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, continuing to drown out the loud neighbors above me, and go on. I've been questioning where the hell are our Lego Star Wars games, because Force Awakens, we got one, and then guess what? Rogue One, Last Jedi, Solo, we didn't get jack shit. There were no Lego games. I was like, where's our Lego Star Wars games, man? So now all of a sudden we're getting the complete saga. That's kind of nice. However, I'm worried because is this going to be 7 games we've already played just with 2 extra, movies attached to it? Because if that's the case, I'm definitely not paying full price for that. I've already got Lego Star Wars 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm not going to pay full price for all that again. Thank you very much. Even if it does come with 2 other games. But I'm curious now to know why it's taken them so long to roll these out. But I'm glad it exists. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I don't know if they showed gameplay. All I know for sure is that this is the most anime thing I have ever seen in my life. This is a bunch of colorful dudes screaming in Japanese and shooting things at one another. If you're an anime fan, just watch this trailer, and it's literally like everything you love condensed into one chunk. So there you go, have fun. I don't know what kind of game this is going to be, but it said something about an RPG at one point, like in a logo somewhere. So if a Dragon Ball RPG is on the horizon, that might be kind of nice. We'll see what happens. 12 Minutes, an interactive thriller about a man trapped in a time loop. I like the concept. I really like the whole top-down perspective that we got in the trailer. Did we see gameplay? Probably not. Also, the fact that it's called 12 Minutes really hits the nail on the head with the concept that this is not going to be a chunky, hefty game. This is going to be the kind of game you can play in maybe 3 hours and then you're done. Not my cup of tea. So I really like the idea, but we'll have to see more before I can make some kind of final judgment call. Way to the Woods. Deer doing stuff. It was a papa deer and his baby deer, and they're just running around doing stuff. They're trying to get home, I guess, to the woods, and they're going through subway tunnels and, very urban areas where you would not see deer. I'm going to admit, I'm very curious what the deal is with this game. It doesn't look like there's much to it gameplay-wise, but visually speaking, it looks really interesting, and I just want to know more about the context here. Why are these deer walking through the subway? Tell me more. Gears of War 5, or I guess Gears 5 is what they're calling it. Maybe the war's over, so maybe it's just people making little clocks. Gears. Never played a Gears game. Never had any interest in playing a Gears game. And they gave us 2 trailers. Again, no gameplay in either of them, so automatically I back away and I'm like, nope. If you're not showing me how the game comes out in September, and you're still not showing me how it looks, to me that's a red flag. Dying Light 2. Alright, the trailer for Dying Light 2 made me laugh because it just looks like every cliche, video game-wise, ever, that I personally don't like, condensed into one trailer. It was a colorless, grungy post-apocalypse with zombies, and everything is brown and dour, and the playable character is a scruffy, handsome guy who's athletically built, and it sounds like he's probably voiced by Troy Baker. And I was like, nah, okay, pass. Forza Horizon 4 is getting Lego DLC. Okay, so you had a racing game that raced real cars, and now you can play that same game, but with Lego cars instead. Don't plan on owning Forza games anytime soon, but that's a neat little twist, a neat little DLC twist. State of Decay 2 Heartland expansion. Again, I guess I'm not quite as on the pulse as I thought I was because I'd never heard of State of Decay 2 or State of Decay 1. From the looks of it, though, it's post-apocalypse with zombies, so that's probably why it was off my radar. Zombies, not a fan. I'm coming off like such an asshole in this video, I promise. I like things. I'm just very picky with games. Phantasy Star Online 2. The announcement was that this is finally coming to the West. This is normally a Japanese-only thing. I have a very, very limited exposure with Phantasy Star Online. When I was in my Dreamcast days, circa 2002, I had a demo disc that had a demo of Phantasy Star Online on it. And what I loved about it was I loved that your character was so customizable, and I loved how colorful you could make them. You could choose like so many different, like any color you could think of, you could make your armor that color, and he had all these big weapons and stuff. Judging from just this screenshot alone, It looks like they're sticking with that motif. Like everybody just looks like a big old box of crayons. I love that. If this is an RPG I can play at home by myself, one player mode, absolutely. If there's a story I can, plow through and spend hours and hours playing, yes. If it's just, go online and fight some folks, Warcraft style, I'll pass. But damn, those are some colorful uniforms. Speaking of color, wave goodbye to it, because now we're going to be talking about Crossfire X. And Crossfire X is, once again, everything I don't like about video games rolled into one wonderful package. It's a bland, colorless romp where a bunch of scruffy dudes are fighting one another for no apparent reason. I cannot pass on this fast enough. Tales of Arise. This is a very Japanese-looking game. Is it an RPG? Probably, but I can't say that for certain because we saw no gameplay, once again. So I can only go by the very lovely graphics, admittedly, that we saw. I mean, the landscapes of towns that we saw, very gorgeous, but I saw no gameplay, so basically you just showed me some really pretty buildings. Thanks, Tales of Arise. Elden Ring. Okay, honestly, if you want to get on my good side here, you want to please me, this is the way to do it, at least as far as the concept is concerned. The guy who created Dark Souls is teaming up with the guy who created Game of Thrones to make a video game developed by From Software. All kinds of yes, baby. I want to put this in my mouth and eat it. I'm so excited. But we have no gameplay. So is this going to be a game similar to a Soulsborne kind of game? Is this going to have that style? Is it going to be something we've never seen before? Is it going to be like Skyrim? Is it going to be like Dragon Age? I don't know. Nobody knows because we saw zero gameplay. We only got an announcement. So the announcement, am I excited? Over the moon. I wish we knew more, but damn, is that ever a match made in heaven. Then they went on to tease the new console, which we will apparently be getting holiday 2020. Does it have a name yet? No, they're just calling it Project Scarlet. I like the name Scarlet for a console, actually. I think that's kind of badass. Probably won't be called that, though. And I'm going to be honest here. The video that they played to showcase this, to kind of tease Project Scarlet, was very heavy on technical stuff. And I'm not a technical person. I don't know specs. And, I don't know what 1080p means. I don't understand graphics jargon. When I hear game reviewers talk about graphics and they mention things and, like, oh, frame rate and this and that, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm just going to tune out till you start talking about the story and the gameplay. And it didn't help, really, for me that the people in this video were saying phrases like the following: SSD and next-gen ray tracing. And they were saying those things as if they were talking about food, like, oh, get a load of just this beautiful plate full of next-gen ray tracing. It smells delicious. And if that's the kind of thing that gets you excited, great. That's awesome. It's totally lost on me. They might as well have been speaking, ancient Greek for all I knew. And then they ended with the trailer that pretty much everybody in the audience there at least was waiting for, Halo Infinite. This is the 6th major game in the Halo franchise, I guess, like Halo 6, it's just called Halo Infinite. I played through about 80% of the main story mode of Halo 1. Not for me. The vehicles are cool. I like getting into a Warthog and driving that around. That was fun, driving a Warthog on the beach, but the game is just not for me. I do not like Master Chief at all. I might as well be playing as a piece of cardboard with a gun taped to it because that would have slightly more personality. But if you're a Halo fan, this was actually a really nice, well-directed trailer. No gameplay, but I guess we can all assume it's a first-person shooter with vehicles, because it's the 6th game now. But if you like cinematic trailers, then this was actually a very neat one, a nice looking one. So if you're a Halo fan, I hope this got you excited. And that was the Microsoft press conference, the pre-E3 press conference. I liked what I saw. I liked that the emphasis was on games. There's a lot of tiny, indie/arcade games that are, I think, exclusive to the Xbox Game Pass that they showed a bunch of. I think at least 24, if not 36 of them. Personally, with E3, I like to see A, gameplay, and B, big announcements. I'm hoping to see some kind of something about Elder Scrolls 6. That would be nice. I am really hoping and praying for another Batman Arkham game. That would be even nicer. And maybe, just maybe, a Whisper of Zelda on the near horizon. Maybe. So we can look forward to a week of E3 goodness, but this was our primer. This got our palate ready for the virtual delights that the chefs are cooking away as we speak. But I'm Andrew Fantasia. Thank you so much for watching this Microsoft press conference recap with me. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and I'll see you here throughout the week to cover more E3 goodness. Until next time, adios.